on no snare drum.
What's going on, everybody? This is Trend Kill Radio, a rock news show about all things rock, except for when it's not. Brought to you by the Foundry Concert Club right here in Cleveland, Ohio. I am your host, Sean Ryan, and with us we have a special guest, once again, Ty Oliver from Powerman 5000.
Hello. Thanks for having me back, man.
I'll add some cheers in post. Don't worry.
Okay.
So how you been, man?
Okay.
Be honest. Come on now.
We're
We're all living in hell.
Yeah, man, it's a little weird, but I mean, I've been doing okay. Keeping busy with riding my bike a bunch, writing some music actually the last couple months.
I saw with Ray Gun Romance, your
yeah. I've been
band.
pretty productive with that as far as making some demos, and so I've got a good batch of them. Kind of just I'm gathering up and trying to just lock down a vocalist for the next couple singles I want to put out, and that's in the works behind the scenes. So yeah, just riding my bike a bunch, man, doing a bunch of mountain biking, and then working on music when I actually have some creative mojo going, and try not to go crazy.
Yeah, like, okay, so I mean, we're in Cleveland, you're in LA. I don't know exactly how things have. I think you guys are a little bit more strict on the reopening process after the lockdown that we had several months ago, and I'm wondering, like, are you back to working at a bar and shit? Like,
yeah, I was bartending. And absolutely not. No, everything's like very restricted still. Definitely not open as it was. I mean, gyms are still closed.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's I think we're one of the states that's just staying pretty strict about things. And because I see other people posting and they're like, I'm at the gym, and I'm like, wow, we're totally just still locked down on that as far as that goes. But yeah, so like tattoo shops, massage parlors, some restaurants are open, but like it's like not to full capacity, of course. It's like outdoor stuff. But yeah, it's still pretty locked down, man. It's it's rough.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Where were you working? Which bars were you at?
Well, I was
quick.
at a place called Viva Rancho Cantina, which is in Burbank. It's like it was a Mexican. What?
I was thinking you were more like LA based, like at Loaded or something.
No, well, I actually did. At the end of last year, I got a second job at a place called Lucky Strike, which is in Hollywood. But I was like super part-time, like I was the new guy. But they hired me right around Christmas, and it was really busy. And then right around, towards the beginning of the year, things slowed down, so I wasn't getting as many shifts. But I was still working there. And then right when the whole shutdown happened, they were one of the first ones to get hit, and they just like made a huge wave of layoffs. And like, I was definitely one of them. I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but like, but the place that I'd been at for like a year, which was right around the corner from my house, was awesome because it had live bands. It was like a Mexican restaurant that had live music. And that place was really cool. And I actually miss it. I'm actually bummed out about it. So
now, is this all of California, or is this more LA central? Because of like, I understand LA is like, it's overcrowded. It really just is.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's people living on top of people, and it seems like, I mean, I can understand why they would still have bars and stuff shut down, but I mean, we're still doing things at limited capacity right now. I mean, we have our 6 foot distance bullshit here going on in Cleveland, and limited amount of people that can be inside a bar or a restaurant or a gym at a single time.
Yeah.
But that's statewide for you guys, huh?
I think so. I couldn't be totally. I couldn't give you a definite answer on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the vibe I've gotten. But I know LA is definitely being uber strict about it. So there's definitely there's no shows happening here. No way. Like we were supposed to do a show at the Whiskey last week, and and that that wasn't even, that was just like not even, there's no way that was gonna happen. So
yeah, I mean, we were, it was a punch in the face to see the reminder that we were supposed to go see Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein
Oh yeah.
play at a bar up the street from us. And I was,
Oh.
it got postponed at first, and then it got postponed to the fall, and then everything,
Right.
still clearly shut down. So, I mean, I was like, why? And I got like 6 reminders in one day. I'm like, why are you doing this to me?
Yeah.
You jerks.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for rubbing it in. No, and then, we were supposed, yeah, I mean, same for us. I mean, there was, we would have gone to Australia, would have been back from Australia at this point, but we were all just kind of like, man, that would have been happening right now, and God damn it. But
It's a shame,
no, man, I mean, there's no shows happening here, but I do see stuff happening. Like I follow like, certain bands, say Buck Cherry or whatever, and I see they're like, they kind of just will do, they're not really out there about it, but it's like, they'll photos from a show they just did in Iowa over the weekend. I'm like, oh, okay. Like that happened. Like,
well, they were part of the whole Sturgis massacre, weren't they?
Right.
Well,
yeah, totally.
I'm being a bit facetious, you guys. Don't fucking at me. I don't want.
I know, man.
I don't want to hear about anyone's political agendas and all that stuff. I pride myself in saying that this show is not a political show. We don't do any topics on whether it come from let's say the drummer from System of a Down. He's very outspoken about a lot of his political views and stuff. I won't do that show. This is like a safe haven, if you will, for
I like that
music.
I try to stay out of it, dude. I try to stay out of it too. I'm just like, it's everywhere. It's just like, no matter, it seems like no matter what the conversation is, somewhere that is injected into it somehow, and it's just kind of like I don't want to. I'm out. Keep me out of it.
I know we can't do that. Like it's such a. It is like, and I understand. Like you and I, we follow each other on many forms of social media and stuff, and you will see just countless posts and shit like that. I don't post a lot of stuff on my personal page. Maybe I'll retweet something, but I mean, no one follows me on Twitter, which is kind of nice. Like it's way
Twitter's
different on Facebook
and
Instagram. So, but like, how do you kind of keep your sanity and keep your mouth shut? Because sometimes I find myself just like grinding.
Yeah,
my
you
teeth.
want to say something. You totally want to say something. I know.
And when you do, people just jump down your throat. Like, how do you like keep yourself sane and not say something like that? Is it just?
I mean, there's been many a time where my whole rant is like typed out, and then I'm just like about to hit send, and I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it, because all it's going to do, like you just said, it's just going to cause just like, that'll just open the can of worms, and then, you know what I mean? It's just, you got to just kind of just stay out, view from afar, keep your distance, don't put your opinion into anything. Just don't open the door for anybody to walk in and give you shit or get in an argument with you, because they're going to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
I know. And it stresses me out too, because like sometimes, I have made that mistake in the past where I've said something, controversial or politically charged or or whatever. Maybe it's a joke that just didn't go over well or something. Then I wake up in the morning and I go, oh, you idiot. It's like a Tuesday and I have to go to work, and it's like, man, I got whatever it may be, just a bunch of people just jumping down my throat about whatever. It's just like, and it's like some of these people are my friends or family or whatever. I had to get out of Facebook for months. Because it was just too much.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's like, it'll, like you just said, it can be friends, or I even see some people that I'm friends with, and they're saying some things that I don't necessarily agree with, and I'm like, I just, it's, it sucks, but it's like, I'm not gonna. Hey man, I'm just gonna let them. If they want to vent, go for it. I ain't gonna jump into it. It's just asking for trouble, man. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I know you are a very mild-mannered guy from what I know of you. I know
that's because you don't know me very well. I'm kidding, dude.
Yeah, no. You're like the nicest guy in the rock business. But I mean, like, do you get people? Do you get like internet trolls and stuff? Do you get people that still like want back the like original Powerman lineup or whatever? And like, it doesn't seem like it would happen. But I was just wondering, like, do people talk shit on you?
I honestly, I've been really fortunate, and that hasn't really happened. I can say that I probably, because I'm just, I'm not a big enough name anywhere, but. No, that hasn't happened, man.
You are to me, man. You are to me. Don't worry.
Hey, thank you. I feel it, man. I feel it. But no, everyone's been nice, and that could easily be a thing. Like people, people could just be like, "You're not the original guy." Like, what the fuck? But like, honestly, people are just, as far from my experience, it seems to me like they're pretty open. They want to just like, they're stoked their band is putting out music and that they get to come to the show, and like it's still fun. I take it. I mean, that's the vibe I get. They're just stoked. That's the vibe I've gotten. So, which is nice. I'm fortunate for that.
Yeah, because that happens with so many bands. Like, let's say a band will reunite after how many years or whatever, and then maybe bring in a different guitarist or a bass player or a drummer or something like that. I'm sure they get like some hate mail for just no reason, really.
Yeah, of course.
Like Smashing Pumpkins, they didn't bring back what's her name, Darcy.
Oh, Darcy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
you could run down the list of bands that I'm sure they get shit. I mean, actually, if there's like a post on, say, like Metal Sucks or like Blabbermouth, and you go into the comments and it's about Powerman, if you read down below, it's usually people talking shit. It's just like, and then there'll be a couple that'll be like, "Oh, I love Powerman," and the rest of them are like, "This band sucks," like, it's like, whatever. And then I have seen a couple like make fun of like, they'll make fun of somebody in the band's hair, or like, who's this fucking dork or whatever, dude. It's like, it's to be expected. It's like, hey, at least I'm on the website, could be worse. I don't know.
I know, as being like like we're a comedic rock show or whatever, some people don't find us funny at all. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
I think it's great.
We try to be very fair with everybody and, give people some punches when they deserve it. But,
sure.
I understand the whole online bullshit, but I mean, that is the most unfortunate thing that I see with metal and with horror, is just people fighting in the comments all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think the internet really just provides pretty much the perfect arena for that. It's just because you can be anonymous and you can just talk shit, and there's no consequence. You just get away with it, and like, you know what I mean? So it kind of asks for that kind of behavior, you know what I mean? So it's a true test if you can go out there and play nice on the internet.
We try.
I guess that's my wisdom for you.
Sorry, I'm just trying to like read the questions. Like, I know you wanted to do a few hours earlier, and I'm like, shit.
Oh, sorry, dude. Yeah, no,
I'm not professional enough for this.
No, I just figured, I'm like, oh man, it's 3 hours ahead for him, and so it's going to be all late, and like, I'm just sitting here really just binge watching like Netflix right now. So,
all right, well, we'll get into your new album in a second, but I mean, all right, so like, all right, it's spooky season right now. I mean, it looks a little bit different here in Cleveland than it does in LA, I'm sure, but what are your go-to horror movies, or what are you watching right now? Is the month of October like mine, where it's straight up, we have to do scary stuff?
I have some favorites that I'll go to. Excuse me. Like I watched Sleepy Hollow, Interview the Vampire, probably Queen of the Damned. There's this movie called Suck that I really liked. It like
I have that.
Dude,
I have that. Yeah.
The one with fucking Iggy Pop and like
Alice Cooper,
Moby, and dude. I love that movie.
Fucking the guy from Clockwork Orange.
The guy from Clockwork Orange. Yeah,
Malcolm
totally.
McDowell.
That's been I mean, it's not scary. It's more just silly. But like, it's that has been one of my favorites since I saw it like 10 years ago. Like I watch it every year.
I know, I got that for Christmas.
Nice. As far as horror movies go, I wouldn't even consider most of them horror. They're just like, I'll watch Addams Family, or I'll watch The Lost Boys.
Classify that. No, that's all in my horror section. If it's spooky or scary or sci-fi,
I would say spooky. It fits in the Halloween category. But I haven't really gotten down with. I just watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I fucking love that movie.
We got
that movie rips. It is so good. Like,
I'll send you a picture of my collection that we have. They're alphabetized and categorized. It's nice. Huge. Every fucking brand name movie that you've ever heard of in horror, we got it.
Nice. So anyhow, but what I'm watching, I'm just binging Ozark. I finally decided to check that one out, and I'm like all in. I'm like just super into it. I'm like, so.
That's good. I haven't watched that. People have been telling me to watch Cobra Kai and
Watch that one.
The
It's great.
Boys, but I'm like, I tell everyone, I'm like, it's October.
Gotta
No.
be spooky. Gotta be spooky. Yeah. I'll do the spooky. You know, I'll probably pick like a spooky thing to watch with the lady later or something, but because she's into that stuff too. So yeah. So I'm just kind of going through Ozark at the moment, and I'm super digging it. And I did, like I said, I watched Cobra Kai, and that was awesome. But
I know it sounds good. It sounds really good.
It's fun, dude.
It's just, there's a time and a place.
Exactly.
There are rules.
There are. I can respect
surviving a horror movie.
There are certain rules that one must abide by.
I know. There's your favorite that you dogged me a couple.
Scream.
A true classic, and you went, and I'm catch these hands.
That was like I remember when it came out, I just felt like it was like this wannabe 80s horror movie, and I was like, this is weak.
Just your mouth.
I know I'm terrible. Don't hate me. But no, I mean, I will get, like last year we were out on that Edema tour, and we were playing somewhere. Fuck, I can't remember where it was. But before the show, we like binged we had Netflix. We were able to like set up in the backstage, and nice. And we watched like one horror movie after another. It was like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We watched The Crow, of course. Got to watch The Crow.
Yeah.
And then a couple others that were, there was just like a session of horror movies, like all right before we went to play. So that was awesome. Yeah.
Well, that'll get you in the mood. All right.
Yeah, totally.
Your new album, Powerman 5000's The Noble Rot, dropped August 28th, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Why does it feels like it was such a fucking long time? Like all of September is gone to me. It's gone.
Yeah. No,
I don't remember September.
You just said the date, and I was like, wow, it feels like that was a long time ago.
I know it's already it's the 7th today of October.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what the fuck happened to that month? Because I don't remember it. But I mean, that dropped. There's been a couple singles.
There was Strange People Doing Strange Things is the latest one, and Spider did that cartoon video for it, which I think is really cool.
Did he do that all by himself? Like I thought you mentioned that, but I wasn't sure.
No, that's a Spider One creation, man, for sure.
It's cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You said in our previous interview that Spider was the driving force of Powerman 5000. Now, like, does he play other instruments, or does he write things via keyboard, or in like Pro Tools or Ableton, like I use, whatever?
I know.
How does it all work out?
He works with the producer, this guy Greg Johnson, and he definitely plays guitar. I think even does a little bit of programming. I think Greg does most of that though, and fleshes out some of the ideas and stuff. So those guys are like pretty much the team, behind the scenes that bring Spider's ideas to life. And yeah, Spider's super like prolific and very creative beyond what you would think. Like I think I mentioned that before. And then he's doing all these.
No, I believe it.
Yeah, he's doing all these short films right now, and does paintings, and I mean, dude, he's a very creative dude. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you got to have your outlet, but I mean, this was a natural progression from new wave. Like it always seems like he's always had a little touch of the '80s to him.
Yeah,
I get it. Like totally. I totally get that with no matter what album he's doing within the past 20 years or whatever, there's always been a little hint. But I mean, new wave really kind of opened up some new doors into this guy's really into the 80s. And like I said, it was a natural progression to move from new wave onto the Noble Rot and kind of continue that succession. But what is the question that I have?
I don't know, man. I'm waiting for it. You're gearing up. You're winding up. Where's the pitch?
What do you think the next album is going to be like?
Oh, that's a tough question because
good. All right, good.
Know, you never quite know. You never quite know what twist or turn or what mood Spider's going to be in. It honestly just depends on his mood and what wild hair he gets, going and wants to. He might take a complete different turn and crank out a heavy punk album or something. Who knows? It's like, it just depends on what he's feeling. And this one though, I definitely felt took the new way, or the 80s influences, and really brought them out more than I think more than they've really been there before. Plus brought in some modern production techniques and programming and stuff that hadn't maybe quite been there yet. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the stuff, like Powerman was pretty, saying like 99, it was kind of, it was pretty hip and fresh for that time. And I feel like Spider's done a pretty good job of keeping with that, but also like staying true to his roots, you know what I mean? And what he's feeling like.
I know, you know what? And it's like the same thing, like with Scott Weiland. It always felt like something, no matter what Scott did, it always felt like something Scott Weiland was going to do. And that is the same that I kind of feel with Powerman 5000, that even though this album is a lot different than what you would hear with like Tonight the Stars Revolt, it still sounds like a Powerman 5000 album.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think Spider does a really good job of keeping certain ingredients intact, but also keeping it like fresh. And that's not easy. You know what I mean? So he is absolutely like behind that. I mean, he's just very good at that. He's very clever at, taking twists and turns within the sound, but keeping it true to, I don't know, a certain core element, I guess. I don't know. I'm just probably starting to sound like I'm ranting, or not making much sense, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
think
understand.
you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Like when you have like Brave New World and Let the Insects Rule. I mean, those are my favorites of the album.
Okay. Interesting.
Those are, I know. I feel like I'm an outsider on that one with saying that, because you guys have done like some online polls, and when I voted for them, like on Twitter or whatever, I was in the very low minority on that. And I find that kind of weird. I mean, like with how big bass has become, like how sonically it's worked out so well with all of our new phones and speakers and sound bars and Bluetooth boxes and car stereos and shit like that, like how advanced they've become. Like those songs are heavily bass influenced, and I really enjoy that so much. They hit super fucking hard.
Big time. Totally.
Like those ones are like actually more my favorite.
Nice. Yeah, I tend to go for more, well, I really like Cannibal Killers a lot, and then Special Effects, and Movie Blood, and then VHS. I thought VHS was just cool. I was like, that is such a cool way to end it. And the clever lyrics, the whole nod to the 80s. It's like, it's very cool.
Yeah. But, and it's, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, I think it's always interesting to hear somebody else's, what the songs that speak to them, and Let the Insects Rule. Very cool track in itself, and that one, like you said, I don't see that one getting like called out a whole bunch. So it's cool to hear that. It's refreshing,
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
How much of this album were you involved with? I mean, is it more than you were previously? Because like now you've kind of settled into the band. You're celebrating over 5 years now with Powerman, correct?
Yeah, just hit the 5-year mark. Honestly, no, it was pretty much, Spider had, pretty clear cut ideas that he wanted to do and directions he wanted to go. And that's totally cool. Like everything he brought to the table, were pretty much fleshed out ideas. And they were, I mean, I was just like, wow, awesome. I mean, not much I can add to that. It's killer, so, and on this one, I would say, it was just pretty much, Spider doing his thing, man. And, showing us and saying, hey, what do you guys think? And we were all just like, awesome. Like, not much you can do to it. It sounds great. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's not as much of a guitar centric kind of album as some of the previous ones. So I was wondering like what your influence was with this.
Maybe just adding some, some little things here and there, if there was room for it, that kind of thing. But yeah, like you said, it was, very electronic. There's a lot more synthy sounds going on. Maybe not such like a heavy guitar thing on it.
How do you think that's going to work live?
Oh, I mean, It can. It's like there's the studio version, and then there's always the live version. You know, we kind of have to just adapt it to the stage. You know, to
Beef
make it
it
work.
up.
Yeah, like maybe it'll be a little heavier. Maybe there will be more guitar in it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So Spider's usually pretty open to making it work live. If he's like, hey, I like this song, I want to do it. Like, we'll usually kind of find him a way to make it work. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And like this kind of begs the question. I was talking with a friend of mine. He is a national like touring artist for a band, and they've done a lot of European tour. They were actually kind of stuck in Europe, like right as this quarantine was like
that's crazy
going on, and they weren't sure. Like I think they were in Italy, and they were like, "Dude, get us the fuck out of here."
Yeah. Totally.
They were like stuck in an airport for like 24 hours, and I was just talking to him yesterday, and we were saying like how it's great for the audience to have new music. This let's just say this whole fucking year is been a wash, but I mean there's been new music coming out, but I mean it's very unfortunate for people like you and the bands that you're in that you can't promote this properly because you can't tour. And I mean just I want to know, like, have you guys had any discussions about what's going to go on with this album when the doors start opening up again?
We're all just kind of like not sure, and it's weird, and we're all like just kind of bummed and like, man, when is it going to go back to normal? Nobody has the answer. Nobody's sure. You know, things get rescheduled, and that's the best we can do right now, and hope that eventually we get to do it. But like, dude, it's really weird to have this album come out and not be out there doing the thing to promote it. It's just kind of like it's just out there, and that whole other part of the machine that you use to let people know it's out there and keep the band in your face is just not happening. And there's
no more MTV.
No, yeah, exactly. And there's a huge void. I feel it. I'm like, this is weird. It just feels like it's sort of, it doesn't have a base. It's just sort of like, it's got no legs. It's just sort of floating. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? I don't know. So
yeah, no.
Yeah, it's strange, man. And we don't have an answer. We don't know. We're just kind of like, well, these things are getting rescheduled for at this time, and we'll see what happens. That's about it.
Yeah, because like you guys aren't the only ones. I mean, Deftones and Marilyn Manson, and how many albums have come out in this past, let's say, 6 months or whatever, that you know, some of them received traction, some of them haven't. It depends on, you know, how big a band everything is. And I mean, I'm wondering, like, you know, would Cleopatra Records, the label that you guys are signed to, you know, I wonder if they would do like some sort of re-release or allow you the opportunity or the money to put out some sort of EP package deal, 4 songs or something that you guys maybe didn't finish up or didn't have time for or whatever. I mean, I'm sure you don't have a fucking answer for that, but I mean, it's an idea that I just had.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a possibility. It's not impossible, but I who knows? I mean, they're dealing with a bunch of bands that are putting out stuff. So, yeah, I'm sure they're trying to get creative with how to promote without their bands being on the road. And dude, it's a weird time, man. I don't know. I don't
unprecedented
really know. Yeah. And like, just like you said, Manson just put out that album, and it's like, I'm sure he had touring. I know he had touring plans. I'm sure of it. You know, I mean, what's he gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, everybody's hurting. It's a weird time, dude. It's everyone's just kind of like their hands, you know, shoulder. I don't know. Who knows?
I know. I mean, again, I think it's fortunate for us, you know, the listeners and or like viewers, let's say, even with movies, but you know, doing being able to do like online streaming with movies and shit like that. But I mean, you're bigger, the Batman and Dune and stuff, those are coming out in 2021, 2022. Jurassic Park is coming in 2022, like all that kind of stuff. They're pushing it back, but I mean, some bands, some movies can't, they aren't allotted that time, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I don't know. If you ever talk to anybody at Cleopatra, see like, hey, you want to re-release this?
I mean,
We'll throw in another bonus track, something. Like,
I mean, maybe
special edition.
Hopefully that could be a thing. Hopefully by the time, yeah, fingers crossed. Who knows? Hopefully by the time it does go back to normal, maybe there's another single coming out or something that'll still kind of give it a breath of life. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a weird thing, and everyone's just sort of not sure, and just kind of. I mean, obviously, bands are turning to the streaming thing. I've seen a lot of bands doing like a streaming show or whatever, but yeah, there's just a lot of at-home acoustic things, and there's just people are just trying to just do what they can, I guess, and there's not a lot of options. So
yeah, you guys are like completely organic in that point where like it's fun to see you guys play live. It's
thank you.
It's different than yeah, no problem.
It's fun to do it.
yeah, like
it's fun to do it, man.
I have no interest to see Sully Erna and Aaron Lewis in a parked car,
right?
Playing acoustic shows, whatever.
No, yeah.
We were gonna do a show on that, and that didn't really work out because we can't just spend the whole show hating on people.
Yeah, no. So yeah, the concerts in your car thing.
I get it with comedy though. I've seen it with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura and stuff like that. Okay, like that I can see definitely. Bill Burr has done that. That I can understand, but I mean, what are you gonna bounce around in your car in a concert? Like, what are you going to do? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Garth Brooks, he did that. Okay, I can see you drinking fucking 12 of Budweiser in your car and then going driving home.
That's what I was
for
just
Garth
saying.
Brooks.
Like, everyone's just drinking and they just drive home. That's okay. All right. But yeah, that's a weird concept to me. It just seems I don't like. It's like icky. I'm just like, that's just weird. I don't know. It's just not right. It's like you said, especially an amping like rock show. It's like, dude, you feed off the energy coming off the stage, and then we feed off the people that are down there doing the thing. And I mean, that's a give and take. And it's like it's just like if you're sitting you're staring at a bunch of headlights. That's just weird.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, it's definitely weird. I've played shows like I was a singer for a long time. I've played shows in front of a sold out audience, and I've played shows in front of 3 people. And
of course,
let me tell you,
same with me.
Yeah, dude, it's just it's different. It's a different fucking monster. And then I did a best man speech for my brother, and that's a silent crowd. That's terrifying.
Oh God, yeah.
That is terrifying.
Good for you, man.
I felt my legs just turn to jello, and I was like, "Is this over yet?" Oh my God.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just desperate times. People are just like, because obviously some of these bands are bigger, and like they're trying to keep it's a business, so they're trying to just do what they can to do their thing, of course, because they want to play, but they're also trying to generate income. And then these venues are trying to stay alive and stay open. So I get it. I get why the hey, let's try this in your car thing. But it's just it's desperate times, man. It's weird. It's weird times.
I know we've been basically staying at home. Like if I go to a bar, it's just to get like some food or whatever from the Foundry, our sponsors.
Nice.
And mask on the entire time, get my shit and get going. That's about it. But I mean we lost our venue for our wedding because there was no way to do business in that, because that was strictly a concert venue. Like,
oh wow.
Like we were going to have our wedding at a concert venue and have our whole reception in there, but it no, not cool, because it's done.
Well,
it fell through, and so we lost.
I like the idea.
We've had to postpone until next year. We have to find a new fucking place. It's all a big pain in the ass.
Man.
But I mean,
I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's all right, man. No, we're still happy. We're just gonna fucking move on another year. Been together for 5. We'll make it 6.
And if you're gonna be together forever, then you got plenty of time.
Well, we'll try and make it to 10, maybe 11. I don't know, Candy. What do you think? Recently, oh fuck, I mean, I feel bad for having to say this. Yesterday, bad news about Eddie Van Halen passed away at 65. Usually we do a show. I mean, I've done one on Keith Flint, and this impacts everybody a little bit different. Eddie wasn't exactly of my generation, but like, I don't know, you seem to be a little crestfallen, I'll say, about Eddie Van Halen.
Oh, I mean, yeah, dude, he's definitely somebody who's been around since I can remember. You know what I mean? Like, it's just always been this, guitar god, rock star guy that's just been around since I was a kid, And so first time I became aware of Van Halen, I was very young, but it was the Jump video. I remember seeing it on MTV.
Everybody does.
First memory.
Everybody does.
My first memory of seeing it. And like, I just, I didn't really, I was just a kid. I barely remember, but that was my first memory. And then moving on, later on, when I was like starting to get into music and like watch MTV a lot and like music and be a music fan, it was like the early 90s of like the For All Unlawful Carnal Knowledge albums. I hope I pronounced that right. The Fuck album, if you will.
Yes, I was just gonna say. I'm like,
with Pound Cake and Top of the World and all those big songs, and like I remember that being out, and I thought it was cool. I mean, I liked like different stuff at the time, but I very much remember that being around. And then when I started getting into guitar and playing and like really taking guitar seriously, I started to dig back into some of those Van Halen albums, and I was like, dude, this guy's fucking awesome. Like, holy shit. And I became, fan, man. It's just always sort of been there in the musical world that I've, grew up in. And then so, and definitely
it's very early.
Yeah.
It's very early in his life I understand he had throat cancer and his first bout with it. But I mean, that is unfortunate, just like with so many others that we've seen in the past couple of years. I mean, that their time wasn't due. I mean, that,
well, just real quick, I didn't mean to make it about me. I wanted to say that definitely had an influence on me. Definitely a player that I look up to and admire and have listened to, a ton of the 5150 album, the Fuck album, Balance out. I mean, I was more of a Van Hagar guy. I mean, I like the earlier stuff too. I mean,
really?
Yeah, I am totally.
That's insane.
Wow.
But hear me out.
Okay.
That was the stuff that, that's just what I gravitated towards more. But I also like the early shit too. I mean, of course, it's legendary. But what I was going to say is that the guy goes out as a legend. I mean, he's influenced an entire generation of players and bands and has this gigantic catalog of music that he leaves behind and has done. I mean, what's left for he's done it all. I mean, he's lived the rock star life for as long as I can remember. I mean, not to say that's, I don't want to see anybody go, but like, dude, the guy goes out on top. I mean, he's like, he's a legend, dude. So I think it's something awesome. And I feel like I'm very grateful that I got to be around for, a lot of it. So,
have you ever seen him?
I have not. And I
never did.
I thought there was the one. By the time I got really, and I was digging Van Halen a lot, it was like mid 90s. And I remember there was a concert that came around. It was Van Halen, and then it was Skid Row when they still had Sebastian Bach, and they were doing Subhuman. It was the Subhuman Race album, and they were doing the Balance tour. And I remember it coming around, and like I was like, oh, that'd be cool. And I like didn't go, and now I'm like, I should have went to that.
Yeah.
So
I know there's some shows you always hear about, like when I just wasn't old enough to go to some of these shows, but you miss out on Pantera and White Zombie and et cetera, and I just go, man, that would have been cool. But fuck.
I
was 9 and you know what, mom probably didn't want to go to a Rob Zombie or a White Zombie concert.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, big loss, man. But dude, the guy just accomplished so much, and like, I mean, his line of amplifiers are fucking awesome, and like he makes these, his Eddie Van Halen guitars are sick. It's like, and then the catalog of music, all the concerts they play, it's just like quite an accomplishment to the things that he did with music. It's pretty awesome. So
what's interesting, he credited I don't mean to make this sound like in a good way, but he accredited cancer to not drinking and smoking especially the smoking part, but having a metal pick in his mouth all the
Oh,
time.
yeah. I heard
And
about
being in the
that.
studio and electromagnetic pulses or whatever, he was basically
Maybe.
saying like golf. he was making the analogy of golfing while there's being a lightning storm, while there's a lightning storm.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
heard about that. I remember kind of hearing about that because there was like the cancer thing came up like a while ago, like many years ago, and I kind of thought,
yeah, right. Isn't that what like Valerie Bertinelli or what's her
Bertinelli?
name? I thought she was mad. I thought she left him because like he just kept on smoking after
probably. I don't know,
cured.
but
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I
no, but I do remember it coming up a long time ago, and then it seemed like he beat it because like it just kind of didn't get talked about for a long time, and then I think they did that tour or whatever, the last round of touring they did, and then there was just kind of no activity for like a while, and then this happened. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So
yeah, they put out that last album, Tattoo, and then
the different kind of. I wasn't a fan of that one, but
I like that song Tattoo. That was fun. Hearing David Lee Roth back at it, Diamond Dave, baby. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's a legend, man. He's a legend too. I just think he's a legend. I'll leave it at that. He's a legend, man.
He's something, all right.
Dude, in the prime days, even in his solo career days, into the late 80s, early 90s, he was still the man. But like, it's a little different now. But it's a little different now.
He's like a kung fu master and like registered EMT and like whatever, man.
Yeah. Dude,
he went off and did a lot of weird things like after the music stopped for a little while.
Yeah. Okay. If you want something entertaining, just go watch his interview on Joe Rogan. It's something else, dude. I'll just say that.
I guarantee
you will be entertained
insufferable.
You will be entertained for 2 straight hours. I mean, he talks the entire time and never really talks about anything.
Just like his book. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Starts out hard, but just floats off into absolutely fucking nothing. Because I'm into Dave, baby.
Into Dave land. Yeah, Dave land.
Shit, man. Well, we are winding down a little bit. We're gonna talk about just a little bit of what are your Halloween plans? I mean, if things are different here, like I said, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. We are able to social distance and be outside and still have parties without getting arrested.
That's
California.
Cool. Yeah,
California's different.
I heard.
Are all Halloween plans canceled? Because I heard your trick or treating is null and void. Like.
Yeah, it got like a ban or something. So I was like, oh, well, okay.
So what does that mean for the adults, though?
I'm not sure. Still trying to. I'll probably dress up and maybe find some place. I mean, because you can go to places like the Rainbow's open, but it's like you got to stay at your table and like you can't get up and walk around. You know what I mean? It's open but with the restrictions. So I don't know. Maybe find some place that's kind of cool and open and get dressed up and hang and for a little bit and then kind of keep it mellow.
Maybe an outdoor event. I mean, you guys still have nice weather. I mean, it's even 70 degrees here right now. I mean, no humidity, but I don't know what's it like out there.
Oh, it's been really hot, and then
still
it's kind of dude.
Oh, ew!
It never ends. It's but today actually it started to cool down a little bit. But as far as events and stuff, they're not happening. Like all the haunted houses and like mazes and whatever, they're all just like getting canceled left and right. So it's like, it's
outdoor house parties.
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure somebody's doing something, you know what I mean, somewhere. But
you guys got to know someone famous that has like a big big backyard, big acre.
I'm not invited to those things. I don't know, maybe. I mean, I'm sure there's something going on somewhere, but it's still early in the month, man. So
well, if you want to come out to Cleveland, you are more than welcome.
It's tempting.
We're having something on the 24th. It's a Halloween celebration in honor of the death of our wedding that was supposed to happen. An outdoor event, half acre at our co-host Jimothy's house.
Really?
Yeah. So
we'll
we'll be outside trying to stay safe. But,
Okay. All
but
right.
speaking of Halloween, though, you did mention that Spider and his wife are working on several short films, and I've seen like just movie posters and stills, and you
Yeah.
dressed up in tar man makeup, whatever it may be. Like
Yeah, it
what can
was.
you tell us about these
Wow.
movies, and when do they come out? Where can we see them? I know they're nominated for shit. They're like all these short film festivals, like nominated or have already won.
Yeah,
What do you got to say about that?
Well, okay, so yeah, they've been doing a bunch and super duper active on that. Both of them. They have their own, like Chrissy makes her own movies, and then Spider has his own series that he's working on. I've seen one of them, actually two of them, but one of them I saw called "This Is Acting." Wait, this isn't acting. This is hell. I saw that one. That one's super cool. But that's part of like a series he's making. And the other one that I was actually the monster in is called the Harrowing of Marcus Mueller. And that one's like another short horror thing that I got. He asked me, he's like, "Oh, you want to be this monster character in my movie?" I was like, "Sure."
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to say anything. Just sit there and look creepy. I was like, I can do that.
Here's some. I'm gonna show some stills. I'm gonna screenshot your shit and
Sure.
show you what Ty looks like in this. And I said, I thought you joined Slipknot, but
I know, right? Yeah, no, exactly.
no,
Man,
I thought the
makeup
costume was cool. It's a compliment, man. That's the contacts and you seeing still like the black shit around your eyes and mouth or whatever.
Yeah.
I was
So
like, yeah.
So yeah, this super rad makeup artist did that. And it was, it was pretty uncomfortable, but I saw the finished thing, or at least the first cut of it. Spider sent it to me, and it's super cool, man. It came out really cool. And there's an actor named Bryce Johnson, who was in Spider's Death Valley.
Death Valley. Yes, I know exactly who he is. I have Death Valley. It's one of my favorite series, and I am so pissed they never fucking got a second season.
I know.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah,
that show was so fucking good, man. And MTV is just dumb.
Dude, and tweeted Spider and Bryce and tell them that. They'll be stoked.
I told them. They don't listen.
Okay.
Spider never retweet. He never.
He
doesn't like any of my shit.
Okay, check it out. So yeah,
I don't expect him to.
No, but he actually said something to me on there, for the first time in like since I joined the band. And I was like, wow, he actually said something to me on here. Cool. So he's pretty selective that way. But no, Bryce is in it, and he was super cool, super nice guy. And so anyways, yeah, Spider's got this whole series of horror shorts that he's making, and I believe there's still more that they're working on. But as far as I know, they've just been sort of like sending him to these different film fests and stuff like that. And I think just kind of trying to make the rounds like that right now. And I think those particular fests or whatever hold like you can go to their website and for a while you can watch it there, as far as I know. But I know they're working on what I'm guessing will be an eventual, place you can see it or something like that. It's just sort of in the works right now. So yeah. Well, it's going to be cool.
Are there any dates, or are we, where the hell are we going to be able to see these? Do you have any?
Yeah, that's just, I'm not exactly sure either.
Shipping them out to like distribution networks and stuff and seeing where
I'll have to ask him. I'll just have to be like, hey man, like, because the last time I'm like, dude, when's it gonna, he's like, well, I still got to finish these other ones. And, so I didn't get really, quite a straight answer on it yet, but, all I can say is eventually.
And just like you did with that fucking album, man. You're, I don't know, maybe sometime around, I don't know, summer, late summer.
Because I think at that time the release date hadn't quite been nailed down, and then honestly, like a few days later, it was like, oh, it's this day, and I was like, oh, there you go. But I know he's working on it, but they've just been kind of doing the rounds of the film fest, and it looks like, from what I've seen, you can go to those specific film fest sites or whatever, and for a time you got to pay to watch it and stuff like that kind of thing. So,
oh really?
I think so. Yeah, that's what I've seen, but I know they're eventually working on getting it, I don't know, out there somewhere somehow. So
if you get a cut, send me a copy.
What's that?
Send me a copy if you get a cut.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I do want to see those.
And they are, so far from what I've seen, they're really cool, and it's some really cool stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, yeah, it's Spider and his whole family. They very creative people. And you know what? No, you mentioned his artwork and stuff. I was actually considering getting myself a birthday present and going, but like I'm also a painter. I'm like, I can do that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I could show you some of the other stuff another time, but I lost train of thought. God damn it. Again.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
I know. Getting my old age here. Yeah, but I was thinking once again, if you ever get any kind of opportunity to talk to, I think the Noble Rot is a great album, and I think if you were ever able to get in contact with anyone, some of the higher ups, some of the suits, I think that would be awesome if you were able to do a re-release around the time where you're able to actually go out on tour and maybe add a song or two. Or maybe do some unspecified. I know it's out of your hands, but some unspecified EP. I mean, EPs and singles these days are. It's just what's going on right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of the younger bands.
Totally
Falling in Reverse. They've had the #1 single across like how many fucking rock charts or whatever with Popular Monster. Bring Me the Horizon. They've been exclusively putting out singles. I think like the past like 3 or 4. Same thing with Falling in Reverse.
It just kind of seems to be how it's going, for sure. I know what you mean. You mean. Big time.
And that's a good way to keep your baby, let's say your proverbial baby, like in your arms without, having to release a 10-song album.
And then that's it. Like, that's it. It just sort of, you put it out there and then there's nothing, like radio silence for a while. So yeah, I see. I totally get it. It makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of pull you have, but, if you follow Sean.
That's a loaded question, buddy. Kidding.
Follow me, you'll go places, kid. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But all right. So wait, just last question. We got Ray Gun Romance, your side project, your baby. Speaking of babies,
absolutely.
Speaking of children, I've seen that you have been putting out numerous little snippets of new songs. Once again, just like with the Noble Rot, very 80s influenced.
Of course. Yeah.
It seems like, so like, what are we expecting in terms of Ray Gun Romance? I know you said you were shopping around singers and stuff like that, but
so basically, I just started, the last single that was put out was back in, April, I think. And so it's been, I've been kind of, it's tough because it's just me, and I don't have I'm not a graphic artist. I'm not, I don't have a bunch of content to put out with like I'd like to keep it in people's faces all the time. But, so what I, while I'm making demos and I'm just I try to put little clips of that out there to kind of keep hey, I'm working on stuff, which I have been. And so anyhow, I've got 2 right now. One that's more of like a ballad kind of thing, that I got a guy here, in LA working on. And then I just started talking to, and getting the ball rolling, with another guy for it's going to be the next single. We're working out the details on that. I can't quite announce it just yet, but I absolutely will. It's coming. It's in the works, man. And I'm dying to start pushing something out there and get the next track out there. And I'm hoping, just if I can work it out somehow to get a proper video going for this next single. So that's all in the works, man. I just, again, like I said, I don't have, I wish I just had more content to put out, to keep things, because it's I post a clip of something and then that's all I got for a while. But believe me, I'm things are happening behind the scenes, my friend. So as soon as I can start posting stuff, I'm gonna, and I'm itching to do it. So it's in the works, man, for sure.
Great to hear.
Yeah,
absolutely great to hear.
Yeah.
But I think that I've run out of questions. Thank you so much for you're the only one that'll tolerate me. Thank you so much for being on Tranquil Radio.
Yeah, man.
Ty Oliver, everybody. He is the guitarist for Powerman 5000 and the writer, the complete maestro, composer, producer, writer, button pusher
Yeah, ish.
of Ray Gun Romance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, actually, dude, just real quick, just to, I do, I'm doing the lion's share of the music on stuff, but I do work with a producer who makes it sound, who takes my demos and takes them to the pro level. And that's this guy, David Nazi, also known as Mixbus TV. You'll probably see me like,
Thank you.
Occasionally like retweet something of his or whatever, but he has a big hand in helping it come to life, so to speak. Just wanted to add that in there. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, for sure.
100%, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's great, man. I'm glad to talk to you. I'm happy to hear
man.
that you're staying busy as much as you can.
Yeah,
with
no,
everything.
no,
I know it's nuts out there, man. It's just
so it's wild time, my friend.
we're at the end of days, man, like Schwarzenegger, end of days. I don't know, but thank you so much for coming on, and I appreciate it. I'm willing to have you on anytime ever.
Thanks,
thank
man.
you so much, Ty Oliver, once again, everybody. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and have a good rest of your evening. And dude, you rule. Cheers, man.
Hey, thank you so much, man.